Welcome to the bottom of the barrel. To all you grubby groupers and floundering fans, to another edition of the Bottom Feeders podcast, the first podcast dedicated to the last. Sit back and enjoy the blast, the rush, of watching our team shrivel in the clutch, or not showing up in games that mean so much. Here at the bottom, we talk about it all, every decision that led us to our downfall. Welcome to the Bottom Feeders podcast.
And we are live. Welcome to episode 4, I believe, of the Bottom Feeders podcast. Carson alongside Malcolm. Malcolm, how you doing today?
How y'all doing, people? I'm doing well. How
All
you doing,
right.
fam? Let's get it.
We are doing great. This is your first time listening. Basically, this is a podcast you heard from the intro, dedicated to the last. For all of us who struggle with fantasy football, for all of those who have to suffer through our own franchises, our own fandoms, being horrible week in and week out, making the wrong decisions. A podcast dedicated to those people, people like us who are horrible at fantasy and root for bad teams. We've been in the same fantasy league for 14 years. Malcolm, since 2018, how many top 3 finishes do we have?
0.
That is a big fat zero. Zero since 2018. Malcolm does have one ring, I believe, 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's about to 2015.
Yeah, yeah.
Cam Newton, Newton's Law.
And this year we are both trying to get back into the championship game. Our average finish since 2018 is 10th place, but both of us, both of us off to good starts this year. Malcolm, give us a brief, quick update on your team.
I was thinking about this in the pre-production meeting about how to talk about this, but we moved into second place this last week, and it's not assured, but I am very comfortable with the way in which we are moving this season. It seems like we are on the uptick, and injuries, being what they are right now and staying the same, we might have a shot at making a deep playoff run. So I'm feeling confident in the way in which this team is trending. So yeah.
You had one of those weeks that
Oh, it was a roller coaster.
is one of those historic weeks where you scored the second least points in the league, but you still won.
That's all that counts, right? We
Yeah.
were in a knockdown, drag out, slugfest of a defensive battle, and we pulled it out. We did.
Yeah, you
Shout out to
83
Jesse Bates.
just it's 83.3 to 72.7. Just an ugly matchup for you. Um,
Hey, gotta get it done how you can. We're like the Eagles in that way. Shout out to
yeah,
Jalen Hurts, our fearless leader.
I'll be
We have that
honest.
in common.
Yeah. My team also pulled out the win this week. Honestly, thanks to an amazing Thursday night showing from Travion Henderson. I mean, after
Shoot.
that,
But you called. Shout out to you.
yeah, it took only 10 weeks of the season for my fifth round pick to start playing like a fifth
You
round
know
pick.
what? Beggars can't be choosers, Carson. Beggars
Yeah.
can't be choosers. You have a Patriots running back, and you picked the right one. People have lost jobs over that. So shout out to you.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, it's been a roller coaster of a season, I think, for us both. I know I started 1-4, have crawled all the way back. Um, we both
Slowly.
we both came off wins last week, and you know, since over the last 3 seasons, Malcolm, this is only the fourth time that both me and you have won our matchup in the same week in this league.
That's abhorrent.
Yeah. Last year we did it
Mm,
0 times, not once. Crazy stuff, I
I'm not
know.
frozen. That's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was a rough one. I mean, I only won 2 games last year, so
Well, so I was thinking about what the winning percentage is between us, but I didn't want to think about it too much. You know, that's dangerous. Don't
yeah.
dwell.
So something we tried doing last week, trying to figure out where the crux of our fantasy issues were, whether it was our draft decisions or whether it was our start sit decisions. So we did a little thought experiment, going through every team in our league and like maybe if we had a different roster, would we be making the right decisions? Um,
And did we?
you did great.
Oh,
Uh,
stop it.
Out of the 10 decisions, you got 6 of them right.
Oh,
Um,
that's deep.
including I think 3 decisions that you got right, and both whoever in our league also made the wrong decision, and I made the wrong decision. You made the right one 3 times. Um, including I think the most interesting one was the Caleb Williams decision to
Mm,
start Caleb over
mm-mm,
Lamar, and you
mm-mm,
called it.
mm-mm, mm. I
Um,
hate Cleveland's defense.
the defense is just a nightmare.
They just
Anyone in
stifle
a fantasy
everyone.
matchup.
You know how the
Um,
Ravens still win the game.
I think Lamar finished with less than 5 points, and to be fair, Caleb didn't play great either, but he got more than 5 fantasy points.
It's the fact that now, weirdly enough, you can count on the Bears offense for fantasy production every week. It's the type of stuff that has me looking at Luther Burden this week on the waiver wire, like, hmm.
Yeah. Dude, the Bears are an interesting team because I mean they're right now in first in their division, but with the Packers and the Lions, like
I was
insane.
going to say, I don't know how long that's going to last, but I also don't want to be in disbelief because the other teams in that division haven't proved that they are also the rightful owner of
Yeah,
that division.
but
So I guess we shall see.
but yeah. So you nailed it
Six
with
out
that
of 10.
Caleb
6 out of
Williams.
10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I finished 3 out of 10.
Ooh.
Um,
I mean, oh, okay. Yeah.
Brutal. The league
Huh.
finished. So there were three decisions that after we recorded kind of got thrown away. For example, one of them, we had Goddard, Kelsey, or Metcalf bench one. After we recorded, Marvin Harrison got ruled out, so he started all three of them.
Yeah.
Um, Similar with our, I think it was Hunter Henry or Jake Ferguson. After we recorded, Oronde Gadsden, who we assumed would be out, actually started, and he was the easy decision there. But I got new week, 10 more start decisions for you, start sit decisions, and let's jump right into it. We either
All right.
have uh, Dak Prescott against the Philadelphia Eagles defense,
Uh, okay.
or coming back from injury, the rookie Jackson Dart against the Detroit Lions.
I'm gonna go with a hell no and a maybe.
So the maybe
We'll
is
roll with
taking it.
that. We're gonna roll with that. Calm down.
You're going with Dak. Okay. I'm going
Dakota
Dart.
Rain. Dakota Rain. Dakota Rain.
I'm going Jackson Dart with that one. I got to roll with the
All right.
potential of the young rookie.
Gotta throw the dart on the board. I see what
Yep.
you're doing. It's
All
good.
right. This is an ugly one. The ugliest one of the whole week, I think.
Oh, it's real
Lions
shattering.
backup tight end Brock Wright, who is playing
Okay.
for an injured Sam Laporta,
Hey, we like Brock's at tight end.
against the Giants, or
Okay.
my guy, my man, David Njoku, fellow Kane alum, versus your Raiders.
Mm,
Who you got?
mm. See. Mm,
That's an
mm,
ugly one.
mm. Well, um, I hate to delay this answer so much, but I don't know who I trust in that matchup. Honestly, the Raiders secondary objectively has been playing a lot better this year. And off of injury, I don't know what Njoku's about to do. That Browns
He has
offense
been
is the
like
Browns offense. This
nursing some kind of injury for a while, but he's been
Ridger's
playing.
first week though, really with the first getting reps with starters and all the rest of that jazz. Um, and then backup tight end for the Lions. That sounds good
I
against the Giants. Maybe that pass rush is ferocious though. So who knows how much time Goff's gonna have this week to
I
really
will
get it out there, which also would lead me to believe that that tight end option might be nice this week. But I'm gonna go with Brock because his name's Brock.
Brock Wright. Hey, to your credit, last week against the Eagles, Brock Wright did have 7 targets. Um,
Damn, for a backup tight end, that's
with,
someone who knows a lot about Michael Mayer. That's a lot of the targets. That's trust. That shows trust right there.
with those 7 targets, he had 8 receiving yards.
And that shows maybe a lack of trust, or maybe actually more definitively misplaced trust on Goff's behalf. Yeah.
Or it was against the Eagles defense. It could have just been awesome defense. Like they have been playing just so tight. Like you never know.
In that last matchup, didn't you say he was going to pick the person that was going to get the Eagles defense?
I did pick someone against the Eagles defense. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just And that just hit me at the same time as it hit you. So,
Yeah.
we're
Hey.
gonna roll with that. Next one.
But
All
next
right.
one. Um, Parker Washington, who maybe receiver 3 on Jacksonville. Hard to keep track of all the injuries they got over there.
They got a
Parker
lot going
Washington
on.
against the Cardinals, or Sean Tucker, who just had an insane week for the Bucks. But Bucky Irving might be back, might not be back. If he is back, is he on a snap count? Sean Tucker versus the Rams, or Parker Washington versus the Cardinals.
This one's a little bit easier than the last one because you got to go with Sean Tucker and live with the result, regardless of what Bucky Irvin's contribution is. Obviously, Bucky Irvin's the starter, but we see what the production that Tucker is capable of, and you got a similar situation to Kenneth Walker and Jack Charbonnet, where they're both obviously backs that might even be fantasy viable every week. So give it a chance. Roll
Yeah.
the dice.
Okay. So I went with uh, Parker. I went with Parker Washington. Um, just because I know that Arizona defense isn't that good. And then
No.
for the last one, I went with Njoku over Brock Wright. Um, but on to the next one, which just might
Homer Simpson.
Homer for sure, man. I love my Canes. Next one is a repeat of last week. Pick one. Trey Tucker against the Browns. Brian Thomas Jr., maybe healthy, maybe not, against the Cardinals. Or Tez Johnson against the Rams. Last week, we both took Tez in this matchup, and he scored less than 2 points.
So normally I have a tendency to overcorrect, but I think this is not overcorrecting here. I'm going to go Trey Tucker this week just because I think he's going to now start a touchdown streak like I thought that the other two players were going to continue with theirs. So
Okay.
that's kind of just where I'm going with that. That's just an anytime touchdown matchup, I feel like, for all those options.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
hopefully Thomas does have a good week, and you might have a flex option there too if you need it
Yeah. It's
somewhere
he's been
else.
like on and off injury all year. He's playing
That
for
Jacksonville receiver spot, like you were saying with Parker, it's iffy. You know, they've all
yeah.
been kind of hurt, and losing Travis Hunter means that they all should get more targets, but all of them are kind of coming back from injury and or figuring out where they fit in that role. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
So, I also chose Trey Tucker. I know it's the Cleveland Browns defense, but I mean, aside from Brock Bowers, there's literally no one else to throw the ball to.
Hey,
Like he's gonna get volume at the very least.
Jacoby's not there anymore. So,
Yeah.
and honestly,
What
that being said, I don't know what's going on with our QB situation. So, you know,
Pickett might be getting the nod soon, but
that's it's concerning. You know.
let's well, you mentioned him just now. Next one, Jacoby Myers, one another Jacksonville wide receiver.
Mm.
Jacoby Myers against the Cardinals. This is a flex decision. Or tight end Jake Ferguson against
No,
the Eagles.
Jake Ferguson easily. I don't like the Eagles defense. I do like the matchup against the Cardinals defense from a fantasy perspective, but still, that Jacksonville receiver room, I think all of them could be great for you on a week to week basis, but you don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
you
Too
never
much
know who's it going to
uncertainty.
be.
Jake
Uh,
Ferguson's good. I picked him last week, and I just think in general he's
yeah,
consistently producing for that offense because he has a defined role. In that's
yeah.
with CD and Pickens having great weeks off and on, and sometimes together. So
And I think seven games this year, Ferguson's gotten double-digit fantasy points.
he's
So he,
kind of becoming that Kittle role from fantasy perspective a couple years ago, where he's not going
yeah.
to be the number one tight end, but he is producing every week. So
Right,
and
which means
injury is
in
the only thing that's kind of deterring him from
yeah,
becoming that number one tight end.
which means in 2 or 3 years, if he follows a Kittle track, he'll be tight end 2 in fantasy. So
True,
hey,
legitimate.
yeah. I chose Jacoby. I I think he got like eight
Wow.
he got like 8 catches in his first full game knowing the playbook as a Jaguar. I
I love
think
him.
he's gonna keep just growing in that offense, and he's a very talented guy. He might be the most talented receiver. Hot take, might be the most talented receiver in Jacksonville. Brian
He
Thomas
is
Jr.
Kendrick
Yeah,
Bourne. Kendrick Bourne, Matt Collins, definitely a talented player, but I don't know if they're ever going to be the primary receiver in any offense. And he could definitely have an effect for sure on level of production, but on a week to week basis, that's kind of been the issue throughout all of those players that I mentioned. Robbie Chosen Anderson, they're dynamic players
yeah.
for sure. But I don't know if that's going to be something that's going to be transformative for that Jacksonville offense that needs really Brian Thomas to step up and or have Parker Washington step into that Jackson Smith and Jigba role where you can kind of develop over the next year and a half.
He has been doing a little bit each week, Parker Washington.
I think
But
Jordan Addison's probably a better comp for that, but whatever.
yeah, that's fair.
Let's get it.
All right. Tyjae Spears
Ooh.
against the Seahawks. So I'm gonna give you three names for this one. You're gonna bench one name. Um, and it might not be as easy as it sounds,
Uh-oh.
but Tyjae Spears against the Seahawks. Kenneth Gainwell, who's been almost splitting running back duties um,
Jalen Warren, I
with Jalen
know.
Warren.
Ugh.
Kenneth Gainwell against Chicago, or DJ Moore against Pittsburgh. Bench one.
Oh, that's pretty simple. You got to go Spears there because
Really?
Gainwell is likely to burn you. That's just too that's a boom or bust option where you live with the boom and you hate the bust, but it is what it is. And then what was the third option again? It's crazy that
DJ Moore, DJ
DJ
Moore
Moore.
against that
Yeah.
Steelers defense.
DJ Moore, like we were saying earlier about the Chicago offense, you can rely on them to be at least consistent enough from fantasy perspective. So you just gotta take it for where it comes.
Uh, here's what's crazy with Kenneth Gainwell. I mean, he is the epitome of boomer bust this year. He has one average game, or he has two average
That's
games
wild.
between 7 and 10 points. Um, two games over 25 points, including last week.
Okay.
He had 26.7. And then one, two, three, four, five, 6 games less than 6 points. So
As a Jalen Warren owner, it has been an arduous relationship
yeah.
when I see him on the field. I'm like, man, why is he
So
back? Is he tired yet? Come on, put Warren in the game.
I chose to
Pretty good line touch.
yeah. I chose to bench Gainwell just because I can't trust that boomer bust. But all right, we got three more. Let's try and rapid fire these. Sam Darnold versus Tennessee, or back from injury, Brock Purdy against Carolina.
Oh my gosh. Um, let's go Purdy because Sam Darnold is done for the season.
No, he played the Rams last week. It's a tough matchup. I'm not holding that matchup against him. The Rams might have the best defense in football after Denver.
The guy has a pattern. There's a follow-up point every year. He plays exceptional up until that point. I'm not saying he's not going to bounce back this next week, but he's not going to continue to play at the same level. Now we are on the Sam Darnold roller coaster. It's going to
Yep.
be up and down from here on out, including the final descent in the playoffs and a really disappointing loss.
Hey, well, that's fair, but I'm going Darnold still. He has what, 2 games in the last month where he's thrown like 4 touchdowns almost by halftime. Like, yeah, I'll keep those odds. All right. Another gross one. I forget whose team this is, but I feel really bad. Greg Dortch, Arizona receiver, who does get some return yards for us
This is a
against,
running thing for us.
yep. Return yards count the same as passing yards in this league, so not a ton, but they add like a couple points. Greg Dortch against the Jaguars, or AD Adonai Mitchell against the Ravens.
Ah, um, consider what I'm going to say in a little bit. I have to go with the first option.
Greg Dortch.
Dorsch.
Yep,
Return
I
yards
did.
in this league. I was saying it was a running thing between us, but also just within our league where Greg Dortch and a couple of other players who are returners end up getting return yards in a game that would have been the difference and end up making the margin for victory or loss. So
Yeah.
go ahead and take the chance. Again, I think a
Okay.
lot of this week is becoming taking chances with players that I know I normally wouldn't be comfortable with, but got in a deep league like
Yeah.
ours, got to take some chances. And a lot of similar locker rooms too, especially with the Jaguars receiver room being so heavily present throughout our league. It's
Yeah.
interesting. It just kind of speaks to how deep the rosters are.
Yep. And then last one, you need to start one of these backup running backs. Pick your running back. Kareem Hunt against the Colts.
Is that a backup running back, really?
Pacheco's back. I think
As a
I think
Pacheco
Pacheco's
owner,
healthy.
is that really a backup role? Is that
Oh,
still what's
fair.
happening? You let me know.
It's I like to believe if Pacheco's healthy, he's a starter.
I do too, but I don't know.
But Kareem Hunt against the Colts, Bam Knight against the Jaguars,
Who? I'm messing with you.
Zonovan. How does he go by Bam? How do you get Bam from
I,
Zonovan?
look, I would if
Like,
my name was Zonovan, I'd be going by Zonovan all the time. I wouldn't even have a last name, just Zonovan. You know
Zonovan's
what
such
I'm
a baller,
saying?
Nate. Like,
And I'm
uh,
a running back. I just had number 7. Look like a Z too. Fold
yeah.
up my little nah.
Like if he went by Zay, Z is Zay, I get it. Like, sure. But
Xavier.
Bam, just out of left. Oh, Bam Knight against the Jaguars or Devin Singletary against the Lions.
What team is Devin Singletary on?
He is right now Tyrone Tracy's backup with the
On the
Giants.
Giants. Okay.
Yeah.
He followed Dable. Um mm. That's a crazy disposition too. What was the
Yeah.
first option?
Kareem Hunt against the Colts.
Mm.
I will say, since Scadabo's been hurt, uh, 3 full games Scadabo's been hurt. Devin Singletary has at least 10 touches in every one of those games.
Earlier I made the choice not to go with Jackson Dart. Now I'm going to go with the choice to believe in the little bit of production that the Giants offense is capable of from a week to week standpoint consistently. And I'm going to believe that Devin Singletary is going to get a couple of red zone touches to make him actually fantasy viable this week. But
Yeah.
I would like to go with Kareem Hunt.
I'm going Kareem Hunt. I'm sticking to my,
You know,
I mean,
as a Pacheco owner, I don't know. The Chiefs are eternally disappointing this season, seemingly. So
yeah, hey, as a Pacheco believer, I like Pacheco a lot, but you just know he's going to take that ball to the 2 yard line and they're going to put Kareem Hunt in every time.
before we end this segment, too, I would like to point out that damn Travis Kelce historical take. Hey, they broke a record this week. I don't know
Yeah,
what it is. They're quantifiably unstoppable.
that
So
was, I actually chose to bench Kelsey last week because I was scared of that Denver defense. You said to bench Goddard and you put the nail on the head with that one.
I don't know
Uh,
what they're doing.
but
If they could just get the offense going while they're doing that, that'd be great too.
yeah, well,
I'm not rooting for them, but I would like to see some success from a fantasy perspective for my week.
so those are our picks. Again, please do not take
Starts
this
it.
as advice. We, as you heard from the beginning intro, we are not the best historically. So take this
Yeah.
maybe as, I mean, you saw me, I went 3 for 10 last week.
60% is still a D. You know what I'm saying? You might pass, but I don't know why you cheating off me.
Yeah. And if you cheat off me, you will definitely fail. So, but that brings us to our dreams and nightmares segment. Both of us had dreams last week of good players with bad matchups. Um, Not gonna believe yours was Ashton. How did he do for you last week in a tough matchup?
He pulled through, but like just in the margin sense, not from the production I was expecting from him. Him and
Yeah,
Brock Bowers were all I needed to secure victory last week, and they Brock Bowers did his part, and JT by the end of the game did his too. But it wasn't a dream, but it wasn't a nightmare. So beggars can't be complainers, and choosers can't choose nothing.
yeah. I was in a similar boat with Rashee Rice. Tough matchup against Denver. Started him anyway, and
How that
he
Denver defense look?
he got 6.5 points. So not the best, but I mean, my two running backs combined for almost 60 points. So they
That
kind of
was
made up for
beautiful to
Rice's
see.
slack.
I think a lot of people in our league this week had really big performances from random players, almost seemingly. I would love to see the margins on that, but like I think out of the 12 teams, maybe what 6 or 7 of them had 20 to 30 point performers, and that
Yeah,
was like the way in which a lot of those matchups started, and a lot of people started at a 20 point almost disposition,
yeah.
and going
Hey,
into Sunday.
I've said it every week of the podcast. If you are a skill position player and you want a bounce back game, it's easy. Just play the Jets, right? We saw it with Jerry Judy. We saw it with Travion Henderson last week. Like it's just gonna It's guaranteed. Lamar Jackson,
Give me when you can.
four
I
points
throw the
last week.
I throw the Raiders in there too. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
hey,
And if you need somebody to avoid, maybe that Cleveland defense and maybe some Denver too. I'm just telling y'all.
that is
We
something
may
I'm
not be right,
learning.
but we might be right about this.
That's something I'm learning, man. To avoid anyone against that Cleveland defense. I don't care if
Spot the
it's Lamar
pattern.
Jackson.
Recognize and adapt.
I will. So both our dreams did enough. Weren't nightmares, but weren't necessarily dreams come true, you know? This week, my dream is actually kind of ties back into what I think was the fantasy fumble of the week. Now, this wasn't my fumble of the week, but in our last show, one of our start sit decisions was Zach Charbonnet or Christian Watson, right?
Mm,
You chose to start Watson, which ended up being the right decision. He scored 2 touchdowns.
the
Um,
Packers for finally figuring it out.
right before that Packers game, someone in our league, instead of benching Christian Watson,
Wait, I saw this. Yes.
dropped
Oh
dropped
my God.
Christian Watson, which blew my mind. Like he's in a
Was
12 team
insane.
league.
Was an insane, but the level of frustration that speaks to
Yeah.
is impeccable. Thank you for
I-
listening, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's insane. So what did I do? I picked him up, and
You did.
now
I was
he's
thinking
my
about doing
dream
the
of the
same.
week. He's my dream. Packers receiver Christian Watson. I feel like he's coming back from injury. He's getting more and more warmed up with love. 4 catches, 2 touchdowns last week. Um,
But if they need a Sandman because you didn't stole my dream.
yeah. And I got Lad McConkey on
Crazy.
bye. I got Bill on bye. I got Malik Washington on bye.
Your belief in Bill is impeccable.
I still have him. It's
It's
I'm not giving him.
unwavering.
So lots of bye weeks. So I'm going with Christian Watson as my second flex. That's my dream of the week, and I think it's gonna make the fumble from our league, Alaskan Bullworms, look a lot worse if he goes off.
Oof. I would love to say that my dream was not indicative of the state that I'm in, but similar to you, it's basically dictated by the buy. I have some waiver wire pickups that I'm going to have to figure out how to execute. We'll see what goes on with that to maybe strengthen the receiver flex spot that I got going on because I don't know if I believe in Leggett this week. But I made a decision that has burned me week after week when I make it, but I'm making it again. And it's because of the years past when I made a similar stupid decision without the option to. I might have even had the option to because I've been a believer in Dalton Schultz for years, but I have also
Ooh.
sat him off far more often than not. So this week, my dream is Kyle Pitts, putting him in the tight end
Wow.
one this week. We're going to leave him be right there, and more than likely, I'm going to try to figure out somebody to pick up replace Leggett, and then move uh, some Dalton Schultz back into the flex position probably somehow. But there's some things that are going to happen. Dalton Schultz may be on the bench though, and I might just roll with Pitts this week. That's my dream though for sure.
Your dream
Atlanta,
is,
don't let
I
me
guess,
down. Kirk Cousins, I understand. I understand it's your first week back, man. Just get in touch with the old Kirk. Kirkle Chains, where you at? Okay, I need you.
that's,
Yeah,
I did not expect that one looking at your team. I mean, hey, it's Kuno's Pitts has kind of dropped off in recent weeks, but so has Penix. He's been inaccurate as heck throwing the football. I can see it. Maybe the Kirk Cousins comes back, relies on Pitts a lot more. I mean, Pitts was
the
there
bye
when
has me
Kirk.
in a spot. You
Yeah.
know,
Jalen Waddle on bye is tough to navigate, and he's been your top performer. You
I got a
mentioned,
doomsday trade. That's the best thing that came from that, and that preceded that trade.
yeah,
So
you mentioned Xavier Leggett, who was your dream a few weeks ago, and I just would be remiss if I didn't point out that when he was your dream, he finished with 0 fantasy points,
you want
and
to talk about
then
my nightmare?
that
You
should
want to
be
talk
a
about my
nightmare.
nightmare? That is my nightmare. We can move on to the next.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Let's move on to the next segment right now. Xavier Leggett, bruh, what are we doing, bro? Come on,
0 points when
come
he's your
on.
dream, and you start him. Goes
Disrespectful.
Goes back on your
Insubordinate.
bench, 83 yards and a
Churlish.
touchdown. That is.
All the words from the Key and Peele skits.
He's becoming your version
You're
of
not gonna get
Bill.
to the East West Bowl playing like that, Xavier. Come on.
He's becoming your Bill for me.
You know?
Maybe that's
But
next
I,
week.
I don't have the disproportionate belief in him, and maybe that's the issue. Maybe that is the problem. I need to just show him some belief that I care, affection. Hey, Xavier, you can do it. I believe in you. Let's get it. Come on.
Let's look at it. That's a good fantasy team name right there.
I would
That's
change my name if you're performing a little bit better.
and
Is
if
that the
you
motivation you need? If this week, if Xavier Legette scores 20 points, whether I start him or sit him, I'm changing my name.
let's look at it. Yeah, I like it.
Let's look at crazy. Some shit. I don't know. We gonna work it out.
Yeah.
We gonna workshop it.
So, well, last thing in the fantasy segment, we've kind of been all over the place, bouncing around between dreams, fumbles, and nightmares. But I think we covered it. Just to kind of recap, uh, the dream I have for this week is Christian Watson, who my fumble of the week was actually I'm representing Alaskan Bullworms, a fellow team in our
Jordan
league,
Love.
for a horrible fumble. Um, my dream last week was Rasheed Rice, which wasn't quite a nightmare. I don't know if I had. Let me look at it.
Nightmare. And a
Yeah,
win this week that you had? This was a dominant win.
it was. I
We
had
spoke
a.
about not winning at the same time for a span of a couple of years, but I don't know if you've had this large of a margin of victory in a while.
I won
This was
by.
awesome.
I won by 35 points. I mean, sure, Lad McConkey. Maybe that's the nightmare.
I
Lad
forgot you stole him in the draft. I
Lad
meant to pull
McConkey
your
only
side about
scored
that.
2.8 points. Um, and it is kind of concerning. He hasn't had more than 5 catches in a game since week 8.
That's not his
And
fault, though.
I hope not. But if that continues, I can be in trouble because he's my receiver one.
When I
So,
traded when I traded Justin Herbert earlier this season, it was because I told people I believe in Jalen Hurts more than I believe in Justin Herbert, and Justin Herbert might have an MVP season. So
yep.
part of that
Okay.
was the art of the deal, but at the same time, I feel as though I got to work it in and into the philosophy for the next couple of weeks to just believe heavily in the fact that one, the Chargers and the Chiefs are spread throughout our league, and that they're going to end up affecting the margins for victory, and kind of watching those matchups in the AFC
Yeah.
West because they're dictating a lot of these victories and
And
losses.
what's crazy
It's
is
crazy.
the Chargers got crushed by the Jaguars, 35-6. Like that
Almost
wasn't supposed to
predictably so,
happen.
though. Trevor Lawrence outperforms them every week for whatever reason, or every matchup, every time. That
Yeah,
playoff
no.
performance, this is not the first time. And
Yeah.
same thing with the Colts.
Oh,
They
you're
they
right.
sit it, they have certain AFC opponents that they either drop a game to or they defeat in a way that is
Uh,
kind of crazy.
well, and then to recap your end, your dream last week, Ashton wasn't quite a nightmare, but wasn't a dream come
No.
true. Your dream this week is Kyle Pitts. Your nightmare is Xavier Legette. Any other fantasy factoids you want to acknowledge before we go to break?
I just want to say good luck this week. And where are we in the standings? Can we address that before we go to break?
Yeah. So right now we are both 6-5. So for the listeners out there, it's a 12-team league. 6 teams make the playoffs, and there are 3 divisions of 4. Top 2 division winners get the bye. Third division winner gets the 3 seed, and then the next 3 are wild cards. Right now, I'm 6-5. Tiebreakers have me in 4th place in the league. You are 6-5. Tiebreakers have you in 5th place in the league. So if season ended today, we'd be playing first round of the playoffs.
Well, I don't mean to be rude, but I do like my matchup. No.
We actually, not this week, but next week, Malcolm, we have each other on the schedule in what could be like a huge game
The
for both of
battle
our
of the bottom.
a huge game for both of our fantasy implications. We might do something special for that episode next week. But
Stay tuned.
all right, well, we're gonna go to break. When we get back,
See
we're gonna
you
transition
after
to
the
real football.
break. Peace.
We are live with the second half of episode 4 of the Bottom Feeders podcast. Carson alongside Malcolm,
How y'all
fighting
doing?
through some technical difficulties, but we are thriving. Malcolm, during the break, we were talking about just the Colts as a whole and how they've been slugging along great. But then there's that one loss they had to the Steelers, and I don't know. Do you think the Colts can actually make a run this year, like a real Super Bowl run?
Peaks, valleys, good teams, great teams. There are distinctions to be made, and it's not definitive at this point in the season. But I do think that loss was similar to the Packers. If you are a good team, one that you have to figure out how to overcome and turn that into a win. So I think that that's definitely going to be something to look at going forward. Jonathan Taylor is still an MVP candidate. We've now also established that maybe perhaps this run that Daniel Jones is on isn't going to be one that's going to be enough to buoy you to the Super Bowl. It's going to be great throughout the playoffs, and he's going to continue to play at a high level, but maybe you don't want to become reliant on him similar to Jared Goff. He's going to be there throughout your entire
Yeah.
run, but
Like
you know,
I will say Joe Flacco and the Ravens won a Super Bowl with Joe Flacco playing about as good as Daniel Jones is right now.
no. See, I've heard this argument before when we talk about that Ravens Super Bowl, and yes, that defense was absolutely one of the all-time defenses. But Joe Flacco, at his peak within that first 5 year span, was a top five quarterback. And
And he,
Daniel Jones has never been a top five quarterback. This year,
he's playing like one
similar
this year
similar to
though.
Darnold last year, he has been a top 10 quarterback, perhaps, within the scope of the entirety of the league. And if you by the end of it, when we look at numbers, he may be a top five quarterback. But I don't know if from a talent perspective, we can view him as a top five quarterback just within the sample size of this year. Because he's
Well,
never played
well,
at the same
here's
at the highest level that Flacco did, you
well,
know?
here's one then. A big matchup this week, Colts Chiefs. Who do you
Oof.
got? Who do you got winning that game?
Colts.
Well, so that will drop the Chiefs to 5-6. If the Chiefs lose this game, they fall to
They're
five
done.
and six. Are they a
So
playoff team?
no, I've been wondering this about a lot of the AFC the West. As a Raider fan, obviously I'm independent. Okay, I've been watching the Broncos and the Chargers for the past couple weeks, and we were talking about this also in the break. I was a believer in the Chargers, but I also could see where the fall off could possibly happen, and seemingly they've reached that point. They're that middling point. The Broncos at the same time were going through some turmoil, but they've somehow overcome that turmoil with their defense being the buoy that's elevating their offense on a week to week basis. And then the Chiefs seemingly were in the same disposition, but their defense is not as good as the Broncos, and their offense has yet to figure it out consistently. So, and we were talking about usage rates in previous episodes.
Yeah.
They have a lot of playmakers in their offense, but constantly they're dealing with injuries because of the amount that they rely on every single one of their playmakers from offense to produce in moment to
Yeah.
moment. And I don't know. I don't know if that's sustainable. I think that does translate to a 5-6 record this year and probably beyond this year if they
Okay.
continue with
Yeah.
the same formula.
It's crazy to think about in the post 2020 world of a NFL playoff without Patrick Mahomes. Like it just doesn't feel right. But if they lose this week,
It
I
feels pretty
agree.
good. I don't know about it doesn't feel right, but it does, it's abnormal.
Yeah, it would be like I feel
I
like
can
it's
maybe stop having to hear comparisons to him and LeBron, and I would like that. That'd be
uh,
nice. I'm not
I
even the biggest LeBron supporter, but hey, like
I
I
feel
don't
like
disparage either. I'm just happy to be a Steph Curry
yeah.
fan. And
Hey,
within that dialogue, maybe we could start talking about some other players. Like if Jalen Hurts wins another one, I wouldn't mind having to speak about Jalen Hurts more than I have to speak about Patrick Mahomes within the way we discuss what happens within this era. I don't know if it's either is more likely Mahomes to win another one or Hurts to win another one, but I think that I would prefer another one, the latter. you
I
know,
hope they both lose. I hope they both never win again, personally. But
you're a Jets fan, so I feel like ultimately you rooting for anybody to win, including the Jets, is a rare occurrence.
yeah, I'll root for the Steelers. I like rooting for the Steelers to do well.
Homer Simpson.
Makes my mom happy if I root for the Steelers,
Yeah,
so I
you
always
know,
will.
which ain't nothing wrong with that.
Gotta
Shout out
keep
to
the
your
mom
mom.
happy. But
Shout out
well,
to Pittsburgh.
we veered off track a bit, but we spent the first half talking about our own fantasy failures and how do we improve ourselves in fantasy. But our fantasy failures don't have a lot of impact in the real world. They might impact our $100 league.
Ooh,
They might impact our pride, our confidence, our sense of value. But that's not important. Uh, what is important are these NFL coaches making
but no
million-dollar
consequence.
decisions each week, and we know that their decisions and failures are worse than anything we do. So
What
we
we
like to
doing?
highlight those to feel better about ourselves each week. So, Malcolm, what was your coaching fumble of the week?
Ooh, we're gonna have to bundle up for this one because it's getting chilly. Much like some of the frosty outcomes that we saw on the field on Sunday. It's getting hot though on some of them seats in the coaching offices in the NFL. And one of the seats that might be hot, but probably isn't, is Harbaugh. John or Jim? Question. I think the answer to that is obviously the one that won in the game that was
I
very difficult. Uh, John Harbaugh, he overcame it. But Jim, he faced some problems that he also ran into when he was coach of the 49ers. And he was not able to overcome them this week. Some familiar demons losing to teams that you probably should beat on a dynastic run, supposedly, with a team full of talent. Does it sound familiar when a Jim Harbaugh run? Seemingly, usually in Jim Harbaugh's tenures, that signals the end. I do not think this is the end of his tenure, but I do think this is a horrible loss, and I don't even know where to begin as far as where to dissect what could have been done to prevent this loss. I think not losing to Trevor Lawrence again, as if you're the Chargers, is the way to go. So that's where I would go from that perspective. I think that the Chargers can definitely bounce back from this. They have to learn how to run the ball. They really cannot continue to survive in the Jim Harbaugh offense without being able to run the ball. It's incredibly important to do so, you know. And then from a passing perspective, I know you as a Lab McConkey owner
Yeah.
definitely would love to see like at least a little bit of improvement from their passing outlook. Me as a former Justin Herbert owner, though, I wasn't necessarily high on where the season was trending, which is why I sold and I believed heavily in Jalen Hurts' ability to run the ball. I don't think that that's necessarily the better trade in that as far as like maybe the ceiling is higher with Herbert, but hopefully the Chargers can rebound. I'm not obviously rooting for them, but I'm not rooting against them from a fantasy perspective. So yeah,
Yeah. No, I mean,
what
looks,
are we
I mean,
doing, Jim?
it's a 35 to 6. 35 to 6 against the Jaguars is a tough look.
What he has to do
But
is hit the Jimi Hendrix, flip it upside down, and figure out how to re-engineer the system. Keep it pushing.
here's here's something I will say about what Harbaugh has to figure out. When I think every NFL team, they have to learn how to figure out. If you are the coach of a West Coast team and you go on the road against the East Coast and have a 1 o'clock game, it's been a struggle for the league for years, right?
As a Raiders fan, I'm aware this is tough
But the
for
good
whatever
teams need to
reason.
figure it out. You just have to. Like, you
How do we
can't
lose to the
lose.
Jets in every game I've ever been to?
You can't lose to the Jaguars by 30 points. I don't care if you're a West Coast team on the road for a 1 o'clock game. You're the
Carson,
Chargers. You're 7-3. You're
have you
fighting
ever
for the
seen Maurice
division.
Jones-Drew fumble the ball at the 50-yard line and kick it to the opposing 30?
Hey,
I
don't.
have, and I don't understand. That's a Hall of Fame level player making a moment happen in a stadium across the ocean from where they play. And it seemingly deteriorates
Yeah.
their ability to function as football players. You see it time and time happening to the Dolphins anytime they play anywhere cold. I don't know
Yep.
what it is about this particular level of football. It's supposedly the highest level of football, but somehow the weather and the environment have the most effect on the game. I feel like arguably at this level, outside of maybe perhaps high school,
And to your
where the
point,
ability is obviously not there,
to, to, to your point, I agree. I think it falls on the coaches. As a coach, you got to get your team prepared for that.
level
Like,
preparation. Bill Belichick seemingly was able to dispel all of these types of
yeah,
factors, outside factors. Maybe that is what NFL coaching is, though, dispelling
yeah.
outside factors in order to bring the internal strength to find victory.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't feel like Sean McVay ever deals with that issue.
No,
He's a West Coast head coach. I you don't really hear about the Rams losing by 30 points on a 1 o'clock road game. Maybe it
Before
has
this, I would
happened.
argue with Pete Carroll with the Seahawks was able to accomplish the
Yeah.
same thing.
So I mean, it's tough. It falls on the coaches. And what I can't figure out, like, I know when teams play the Chiefs, it's one of the loudest stadiums, if not, I think it's the loudest stadium in the league. They break the record or something.
It might be. Maybe it's
Um,
Denver too.
and in practice, they 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 play crowd volume when teams go up against the Chiefs to like simulate the crowd noise there. Um, if you're going up against a team, you're practicing in LA, and you're going up against a team in Jacksonville, why don't you do the same thing? And like, if you need to start your practice at
Duval.
like if you need to start your practice at 4 in the
Duval.
morning or 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning to simulate the time they're going to be waking up for the game, then do it. Like, I don't get why no one's figured this out yet in the NFL. Maybe Sean McVay has, maybe he hasn't. But no, I agree. It falls
I
on the
also don't
coaches.
think Jacksonville has the environment to, like to your point, where it's going to be that much of an effect. I don't think the Duval chants and the other things that are going to be transpired throughout the course of the game are going to be that much of a disruption to your offense's ability to operate. So I think
Yeah.
solving the time issue. You see this in the NBA a lot too with the travel schedule and figuring out sleep. Like sleep is a
Yeah.
big part of figuring
But
out
it
how to win as if you're as a professional athlete.
but
So
it's different when you play like every day almost like the NBA does. NFL, you have a week to prepare for this.
baseball players go through it too, though.
Yeah.
And specifically when the pitching rooms,
Yeah.
figuring out sleep and travel is difficult, even when you have time to kind of like try to engineer a solution for it. Sometimes you get it wrong, and a lot of times it's on the coaching staffs, to
Yeah.
your point.
But my coaching fumble, you mentioned how it was across the metaphorical sea of the West Coast to the East Coast. Funny you mention that because my coaching fumble of the week goes across
I did wax
the
poetic.
the Atlantic Ocean to the Madrid game.
Ooh,
This week
Madrid,
we had
Barcelona.
the Dolphins against the Commanders playing. I think it was the first ever game in Madrid. Um, I could be wrong, maybe, but whatever it was,
I
th
think you're right.
that was one of the ugliest games of football I've ever seen. And I got up early. I was
It
watching
was a
this
Dolphins
game,
game.
and um, I kind of came to the decision in the fourth quarter where it was just like, all right, whoever loses this game is gonna be the coaching fumble because this is so ugly. Um,
That's tough, but also
so
maybe correct.
just to kind of walk through what happened in the second half. So my coaching fumble, honestly, both of them, but the Dolphins won, so I'm going to give it to Dan Quinn. Mike McDaniel gets a pass, but the second half started with the Commanders touchdown, quick drive, Debo Samuel touchdown, 6 plays, 59 yards. After that,
That was the best our offense looked all in that whole game.
after that, the Dolphins had first and goal from the 7. Uh, could not get in the end zone, turned it over on downs at the 2 yard line. Um, then the Dolphins got the ball back afterwards, whatever, scored, tied the game up. The Commanders, 13-13. Now, it blows my mind, this decision. There are 6 minutes left in the game. It is a tie game. You have held your opponent to 13 points the entire game. Pretty good.
Shame, shame, shame.
You have third and goal. Run it, get stuffed. Fourth and goal, kick the field goal, take the lead, right? Like it seems so simple. Like everyone tries to be so aggressive now. And it's like, no, they go for it on fourth down. It's an ugly play. Um, they don't get it. And
And what
now
happened next?
Miami gets the ball back. Well, it gets better. Because in Miami on the next drive, they
What
got
into
it.
a do?
They got it to third and goal at the 1, got stuffed, went for it on fourth and goal at the 1. Now this is even crazier because it's a tie game with a minute 45 to go. And they go for it on fourth and goal. Like just take the
Oh,
points.
this was
Kick
the
the
drive where
field
HM
goal.
got stopped, right?
Yes. Yeah, yeah. I got stuffed
On
in the
that
goal.
outside run, on that goal line.
Yeah.
Oh, that was stupid. Yes, yes.
Like why are all these teams going for it
This
on
same
fourth?
game, Mariota threw a pick, and then Tua threw a pick in that same time period. I don't remember it was the third or the fourth quarter, but both those coaches took risk after that by going for it on fourth, and I was baffled.
Yeah, well, Mariota did throw a pick, and it ended up being the first play of overtime. Um, and that's why Miami won the game. First play of overtime, Marcus Mariota
Yeah.
throws a pick. Um, so I guess I have to give the coaching fumble to Dan Quinn for not taking the field goal with 6 minutes to go and taking the lead.
Take the points. If you were watching last week, take the points. That's what we talked
Like,
about. And also the aggressiveness on fourth down. This is a multiple week occurrence.
yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I like aggression, but if you have the chance, I mean,
In this
basically,
era where you have Dan Campbell, I think you have to go with an aggressive choice, but also don't end up like Brandon
yeah.
Staley if you're going to be aggressive.
I feel like Dan Campbell has set a bad precedent for the league with how aggressive he is. Because now everyone else wants to be as aggressive, and it's like not everyone's Dan Campbell. All right, sure he made his brand off of it, and it works for him. But guess who's never been to the Super Bowl? Dan Campbell. So like it's like I
Success gets remembered and sometimes failure doesn't, but both are important
yeah,
because they often lead to the same place.
and it's I have never seen a game where the score is 13-13 and the teams combined for three times in one half going for it on fourth and goal at the 1 or the 2 yard line. And not a single time did any of them get it.
That is a testament to both those teams' defenses, though, and the level that they're playing up to. I think the
Well,
Dolphins are
yeah.
really rebounding on the defensive side. It's surprising a lot of people.
Yeah, I think they are, especially after losing Jalen Phillips in the trade. Like, also, it's like for Dan Quinn, your defense has been playing so well. Trust them. Take the points. Take the lead. I don't know. I was so annoyed watching this game. I don't even like either of these teams. I have no, what's the phrase? I have no horse in this race. But it's just as a football fan, it just aggravated me like
It was a
crazy.
bad game to watch. As
Yeah.
was the Thursday night game, though.
Ugh. I mean, that can transition to our fan corner check-in. Because yeah, that Thursday night game last week was brutal as a Jets fan. Um, what
Rough week
annoys
for all
me,
around.
what annoys me about Justin Fields, specifically in this game, the first drive looked so good. He was taking the quick passes, he was finding the slants, he was running when he needed to, making the right decisions. First drive, touchdown. It looked great. It was like, oh my gosh, have we solved it? Have we solved the offense?
Is this it?
After that drive, I don't even know if we combined for 50 yards of offense the rest of the game. Like it looked so bad. I'm sure we did. I hope we did, but I wouldn't be shocked if
Go
you
ahead.
said we didn't. Like it was horrible. And I'm done. I'm over Fields. Tyrod Taylor's getting to start this week, and honestly, good. I need someone that can throw the football so we can see if John Mechie, if AD Mitchell are actually the guys. And sure, to Fields' credit, Adonai Mitchell played horribly. He had a few really bad drops. One on like what would have been like a 40-yard pass. But beautiful over the shoulder, like in the fucking bread basket. Like just dropped right through his hands. He had another one too, right through his hands. So I'll give Fields credit. Some of it wasn't on him, but I think it's the second game in a row where he had single digit completions. It's completions,
I
not
just think
like it's insane.
overall the Jets are in a bad spot, bro. And kind of like the Chiefs, you can't place some of the drops on the receivers too, because I think a lot of it is the disruption that happens just in general with the offensive flow. The timing seems
Yeah,
off.
no, it's I think it's becoming clearer and clearer. Oh, now that we do have all these extra picks, we're gonna have to take a quarterback with the top three, top five pick, whatever it is. And I'm accepting that, and I'm starting to get excited about this Indiana guy, uh, Mendoza.
Hmm.
He's huge.
Gritty.
Like he's just a massive guy. He's winning these tough games. Um, he looks he doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. Like if you see his face, um, But he does look like the new era of white NFL quarterbacks of Jackson Dart, Drake May, who you look at them and you think they have no business being this good at football. Like if you were to walk across them on the street, and maybe that's the trait that we need. Um,
So you're
I don't
saying
know. I'm
that
pulling at straws here.
Brian Dable is responsible for the next evolution in the NFL, similar to Steph Curry?
I suppose it would be Robert Kraft because he took
Oh,
May first.
okay. You're
So,
right.
which is even I hate that even more to say, but I feel like now there's one every year of just a weird looking white guy that's succeeding as an
Disproportionate.
NFL quarterback. So,
Okay.
so Mendoza, I'm getting more and more on the train each week. So that's where I'm as a Jets fan. Just try and do what we can to keep Garrett Wilson happy, which I think is him not playing. So I'm fine with him being on
Yeah, I
IR.
think him
Don't
being
put him on the field to get
healthy,
him more pissed off.
just kind of staying out of the way, maybe away from the team right now is probably for the better. Um,
Yeah,
to talk about the
and then use
Raiders,
that to
I
just
will keep this very, very brief. What were we about to say? Use that to what?
let's hear it.
Uh, look,
I want to hear what you got to say about the Raiders.
I keep this very, very brief. Um, hit the reset button. All right, hit the reset button. Don't worry about it. Whatever happens the rest of the year, it's just football. Play the games. But next year,
So
I better see some enthusiasm for the sport. Again, some love for the game, some energy, some roster moves. And that's I think a lot of times with Raider fans, it's critiquing the coaching or critiquing the players. But ultimately, I think that the organization has been making some positive strides, and I want to see them take bigger steps from an organizational standpoint and a personnel decision making standpoint. I want to see them be even more aggressive
so
in the draft. Yeah, go ahead.
when you say blow it up, when you say blow it up,
No. Just
uh,
I said hit the reset button. Just hit the
hit the
reset
reset button.
button
Pardon me. Hit the reset.
from a mental standpoint. Don't blow it
So
up. We've done that before. Keep it together.
I
Add
mean,
a
what?
crew. Do different things. Don't subtract as much because I think that you have found a baseline of energy at least, or at least a mindset and a mentality, like I was saying before, that's a positive step.
So how do you fix that mentality? Is it do you keep Pete Carroll after this year?
Of course,
Yeah.
he's only going to coach for however many years he decides. It's not going to be forever. And for however long he decides to coach, I think it's going to have a positive effect on the organization and move you in the right direction. I think from a personnel standpoint, the most important thing, similar to the Jets, is finding a quarterback. You have Bowers, you have Genty,
Yep.
establishing trust in the offensive line. Obviously, you have to take some utilize some of those picks on the offensive line and reinforce that. But I think that can be improved also through free agency and specifically with the tackles. I know what's his face got injured this year. Colton Miller got injured
Yep.
earlier this year, so that was a big thing for us. But still, reinforcing that offensive line, bolstering our ability to run the ball with Genty is going to be one of the first steps to taking some positive strides and taking some
Yeah.
pressure off of the quarterback because this wasn't also supposed to be on Gino this year. I think that a lot of the frustration we are hearing from Gino currently is coming from a place where he signed up to be, a part of this organization from a leadership standpoint, and he's taking it on the chin. But ultimately, he's not solely responsible for what's going on and what's
I,
transpiring on the field.
I think a lot of it too comes down to the play call. I mean, look, I know you're playing the Cowboys, who have a very high scoring offense, and sure, you need to score points, but Ashton Genty had 6 rushes the whole game. Geno Smith had 42 pass attempts. Like,
Look,
you got to
I
find
don't think that's
balance.
the way to get it done. But to your point, kind of, I think from a play calling standpoint, you don't know what to do when you can't run the ball anymore. And for whatever reason, they're pass protecting enough to where Gino has the ability on some of those plays to be himself and extend the ball down the field. So if that is
Yeah.
your most viable option to score points, I think if you're Chip Kelly, that's probably what you're going to go with.
Yeah, and hey, he's just got I mean, he's averaging 3.7 yards to carry this year. Um,
I definitely want Genti to get the ball more. Like I can't
yeah,
even get the words out. I'm so excited for him to get the ball more.
yeah,
I really would love for us to be productive. I did not think that that was going to be something I had to worry about this year. You know,
yeah. But no, I have faith. I have faith. Here's my hot take. I'll leave us with before we sign off. Looking ahead, I think the Raiders win this week. I think you guys, I mean, against the Browns, if the Jets can beat the Browns, you guys can beat the Browns too, you know?
that's the faith I need. Okay,
Yeah, I believe in it, and I do think they need to make a quarterback change. I think at this point you got to throw Pickett in
Aiden
there.
O'Connell. Oh no, pick it. Yeah.
O'Connell, I think is I don't know if he's going to be healthy at all this year. If he was healthy, I think he'd already be in a quarterback. I don't know
Whatever's
how
going
bad
on
this
with him
injury
reminds
was.
me of McCarthy, where I'm like, okay, he still needs time to prove himself, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know necessarily what the organization saw in him in the beginning. I don't think that there's nothing there.
yeah,
I'm just
but
unsure. But
so.
okay.
Well, that's it. So looking ahead to next week, Jets are playing the Ravens. I don't even want to talk about that. Raiders going up against the Browns could be a winnable game. If you have anything you guys want to talk about with your own fandoms,
What
you
you
want to
got?
send us your fan corner chat in, or you have your own fantasy fumbles, dreams, nightmares you want to discuss or hear us discuss, or maybe your own start sit decisions you want to get our opinions on so you know what not to do.
Drop it in the
Um,
comment sections.
Comments, email us, bottomfeederspod@gmail.com. Spelled exactly how it
It's
sounds,
gonna be somewhere there.
bottomfeederspod
Maybe
at
there. Maybe
gmail.com.
here. I don't know where it's gonna be. It's gonna
Could
be
be,
somewhere here.
it'll be somewhere around.
Anywhere. Oh,
But yeah. And join us next week. We'll be here same time for what will be a very special episode of the Bottom Feeders podcast. Me and Malcolm going head to
it's
head in
on.
fantasy for our fantasy playoff lives potentially
Like
next week.
the Mike Tyson.
Should be a good one. But that's it, guys. Until next time, Malcolm, any last words for the people?
Peace. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for
See
being
y'all
here.
next week.